In 3 years of covering League of Legends on YouTube, on TikTok, on Twitter, on Twitch, I have never once seen the LCS community this unanimously together and for a decision that Riot Games has made towards the North American League of Legends scene as the one that they made today, which is Mark Z becoming the commissioner of the LCS. The moment people saw it, they were like, yeah, that makes sense. He's been all over the place. And in case you do need an introduction on who Mark Z is, because either you've been living under a rock, you just don't know for whatever reason, Mark Z started off straight out of college getting a job with Team Liquid, or Curse at the time, did the grunt work at the base level of League of Legends esports, and then worked his way into content, worked his way on broadcast as a commentator, as an analyst. He has one of the most famous clips in all of League of Legends with the Game 5 Silver Scrapes Mark Z rendition.
Get involved and sing along with me. Woo-woo, boo-dee-doo, boo-doo-doo.
He has been very vocal with his opinions on both League of Legends, on orgs, on the LCS, on everything, as he's been in the spotlight for a long period of time now. This past year with the broadcast, he saw a notable step up in content, and that was all directly led by Mark Z. Now, obviously, there's other people around him. Pastry Time notably gets a shout out with that as well. But the point is that Mark Z has been heralded by everybody on the LCS front as being innovative when it comes to ideas around the league. So this position itself, from an exterior point of view, makes sense. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, we are 50 subscribers away from 2,000, which is my goal by the end of the year. So be sure to hit that button down below, drop a like, and leave a comment. What do you think about Mark Z as commissioner? From the job description itself, I had to dig online a little bit since obviously the job posting is not available anymore, but I found a website that had it listed there. 8 years of product experience. Yeah, he's there. He's got it. It might not be corporate experience like some suites or some executive want somebody in this role to have, but hey, this is arguably, work experience is always going to top anything else. And when he has hands-on experience with it, yeah, it literally, you couldn't find somebody better. You know how to develop trusted relationships. Obviously, he's still in the positions that he's in because he understands how to develop relationships with the orgs, with the LCS, with the players, with everybody around him. Esports industry knowledge globally, yeah. Obviously, also has a pretty good knowledge of the media landscape. If you watch Hotline League, he's been on the forefront of talking about other games that he's played, including Baldur's Gate recently, movies. He consumes media more than anybody else in the LCS ecosystem, to my understanding, which is exactly what you want from somebody that is going to be leading this entire ship. Experience with the League of Legends game itself and ecosystem? Come on now. Knows how to accomplish deals with organizers. I'm not going to read the rest of the required list. Even from a desire qualifications, he hits almost all of these. The one area where you look at it and it's okay, you're not sure how much he's done, are business deals themselves. It's unclear from the outside, and I'm sure he'll talk about it by the time this is live. He will have already talked about it on Hotline League, but I have to record this preemptively. I'm not sure what deals he's closed, given that Travis obviously runs Hotline League and closes out most of the sponsorships on that front, but I'm assuming he has a pretty integral part of it. On the LCS side, it's mostly content from him, casting, commentating, all that. None of that has to do with day-to-day business decisions. But when you're surrounded by the people that do make those decisions and you're constantly having conversations with them, I'd imagine that will come second nature to him as well. Being in the boardroom might be a little bit different, but he's been in many of them, I'm assuming, throughout his life at this point. He'll be fine. So the next question then, as some people might not know, what does the LCS commissioner do? What is Mark Z stepping into? What is he, is he going to be able to succeed? Is he going to be able to do anything on this front? Well, this is also from the job description, and I think the first bullet point is actually probably the most important for us to understand. He's going to be responsible for a 3-year LRP, which aligns with the LoL America's strategy. So, before we dive into what that could mean, it's important to know the structure that he's coming into. The LCS commissioner reports to the person above him who runs LoL Esports Americas, who then reports to the person above him that runs all Esports Americas, who then reports into both Nas and then John Needham. So technically on the ladder, Mark Z is 4 people away from John Needham. Everything that he does is going to have to go through them. So this is an important time to reiterate to people what corporate red tape is. There are certain things that Mark Z might want that he simply cannot do because it does not align with other objectives that people above him have. That is called corporate red tape. You cannot do anything about that, no matter how much you want it, no matter how much it might be in the best interest of your individual product. Does not matter. There are higher objectives above you that you need to learn how to circumnavigate. Part of Mark Z's job is going to be understanding and playing the politics that is working in corporate America. How do you get what you want in your league that's in the best interest of your fans, your players, and everything else through all of these objectives? How can you push and pull, give or take certain things? You need to be an expert negotiator, because some things, like we already said, you won't be able to do. But if you can get something in response, have to give something else, how do you manage that? It's a lot of politics and a lot of conversations that most people outside of the business world and that aren't in these ecosystems don't understand. He does have to play the game. Luckily, if there's anybody that I trust to do that, it's the guy that has been in that ecosystem and has seen that red tape firsthand. Now he just has to navigate it. His second responsibility is going to be managing the LCS P&L. I love this, obviously. I would kill to see the financials that are available for the LCS. In terms of like planning insight and everything else, like basically Mark will probably have an idea. He'll run it through to the analyst, like the financial analyst, that will give him exact dollar breakouts of what that idea would cost. And then he gets to make a choice of whether he wants to go through with it or not. I don't know if the LCS has a CFO that would joint make those responsibilities or make those decisions with them. But think of him as like the LCS CEO in that style. This is a big one. Partner with LCS partners, understanding their goals, their initiatives, and everything to try and make this league the best it can be. It's hilarious. Technically, Steve now reports to Mark Z, who's the commissioner of the league. Now, granted, the commissioner acts on behalf of the owners as well, even though like he is mostly working for Riot. To be clear, this is a Riot job. He does bear responsibility for taking in the best interest of the owners. But technically, Mark Z he makes more calls and decisions about the league than technically Steve does. The rest of the points here are just kind of corporate mumbo jumbo. I mean, you can read it as you will, but it's basically just manage relationships, keep people happy around you, and make the league succeed. That's what this ultimately all boils down to. It is no secret that since 2018, the league has not really been in the best state. I made a separate video going on this when we were talking about the LCS dropping from 10 teams to 8 and how I didn't think it was necessarily a good thing. We'll see what Mark Z's vision is on whether they want to expand teams back to 10, whether there's merger plans that he might have to force in potentially with like a broader LoL America strategy. We have no clue, but at least at a base level, it feels like we've only seen negative press for the last 5 years. COVID obviously didn't help that as everything went online. The good bits of news that we've gotten over the last 2 years realistically have just been the returning of things that already existed, partially because Riot took some of them away and partially because COVID took some of them away. So we were just kind of getting back to a sense of normalcy when last year the horrendous decision was made to go to weekdays. Easily the worst decision that we've ever had from Riot's point of view. Clearly seems like it was like a global, like a John and Nas thing, that like there was no consistent LCS commissioner, it seemed like at the time, to like really fight against that. I don't know if Jackie Felling at the time was like really ingrained enough to like know how bad that was gonna be, or maybe she didn't have a choice on it. I don't know, but like Mark Z has always been clear that weekends were better, and luckily that's the first announcement that we got. All right, we don't have a schedule for next year other than opening day being on January 20th, the Saturday at 3 p.m. Eastern time, noon Pacific Coast time. It's perfect. I don't know what they're doing with Valorant, what that plan is. I don't even want to touch it. But the important part is it just seems like today was the first time and God knows how long that everybody felt jointed. There were a few people that I saw that didn't really care for Mark Z, that were like, I don't like this, or they were just happy that he's off broadcast, which was an odd opinion. To his and her their own, I guess, but they're outliers if we're thinking that. And honestly, like, I'm just filled with hope, and I was looking for something to just like really kind of push through. Not because I was getting like tired of the LCS. Obviously, I'm here for the long term. Like, but when everything was going on this offseason with the rumors of 100 Thieves possibly selling their team, with like everything changing, the LCS collapsing, you never know if like all the teams accepted the buyout. Like, we were in a really rough state. Like, it just felt like it was really bottoming out as low as it could possibly get. And then we just have this hand coming down to help pull us out of the shit. And that is Mark Z and Weekends. We have a good group of owners. There's still some things that I would like to change there, but we've got good partners in that regard. We've got a good commissioner. We've got good people above him in both Raul and why am I forgetting his name? I am so sorry. I'll put it on screen. It will have already been shown earlier. But it just feels like we have the right people in the right spots now, mostly, that we can really start to grow this thing. We have people that understand what makes the LCS product good, but also aren't like trapped in this philosophy of, oh, we need to go back and make these things like great again. It's like, no, that philosophy is not going to work. We need people that are going to bring us innovative solutions that usher us into a new generation of LCS, one that can hopefully grow and be sustainable long term and stop this viewership drop that we've been seeing and stop so many of the other bad things that have been happening to us over the last 2 to 3 years. I have faith. What I'm seeing right now is just incredibly optimistic, and I just leave all this with a big smile on my face because I just feel like good things are to come. This could be the worst curse in the world, this could be the worst omen, but I'm fully buying into it, and I hope you all are too. I will have information hopefully soon on a New York City LCS watch party for that opening weekend. I'm trying to get details ironed out as soon as possible so I can communicate them to everybody and get them sent out. But that's it for me. Big freaking news that I'm really excited for today. It's just like, everything seems to be going well. And it's just, this feels great. I don't know. I love it.